the first thing I said is, know who are you standing before. Know who you are standing before. Just like she said, if you are going to go to your boss and you want to knock on the door, there is a way, there's a professional way that you have to 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 act in order to talk to your boss, right? So how about Allah? Allah is not only the boss, he is the king of the kings, Malikul Muluk, one of the names of Allah, right? And one of the attributes of Allah is he is the king of the kings. He is the great, Al-Azim. He is the high, the most high. If you really read his 99 names, subhanAllah, it really give you that exaltness in your heart, right? And if you really ponder upon these words, the names and the attributes of Allah, it give you that kind of feeling of exaltness of Allah. And when you are in an interview or like in front of your boss, or let's say that the president is coming in right now. So what do? There is a way to stand. There's a way that you should be dressed, right? There's a way to talk. If you want to extend your hand to shake your hand with the president or your boss, there is a way to do that, right? All this. So when you are before Allah, there is a way to stand. There are words to say, right? There is a way to bow. There is a way to prostrate. And Allah prescribed these ways for us. If you want to go and meet with the president, they're going to be like some people who will train you before you get to there and talk to the president. They'll tell you do's and don'ts. Do this, do that. Don't do this, don't do that. Dress like this, don't dress like that. Okay, you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. So how about Allah? Allah already prescribed the perfect way of connection with him. And that is the salah, the prayer. And we do it 5 times a day. We do it 5 times a day. The second thing is always do dhikr. Dhikr means remembering God, Allah. Always have that mindfulness that Allah is watching you. Allah is with you. And Allah will never abandon you. Even if you feel stressed or sad sometimes, Allah will never leave you. You know, sometimes Allah allow us to be in that situation, allow us to be sad or stressed or under type of depression or problems or some kind of like, tribulations. But all these are for a reason. Maybe we don't know the reason right now, right? But we thank Allah for what is happening, because there is going to be a lesson behind it, right? And there is also a growth behind it. You grow from all these tribulations. So always remembering God, that He's with you and He's watching you. Not only that, we have also the verbal dhikr, remembrance, which is like saying Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah. She say that the Salat al-Fajr, the morning prayer, makes you connected with Allah. She says that when she wakes up, she has to say La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah in English, it means there is no God but Allah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Like you feel something and you say La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. And you keep repeating it 100, 1,000 times. You say Subhanallah means exalted to Allah. When you say Alhamdulillah means thank Allah. When you say Allahu Akbar means Allah is the greatest. When you say La ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah. La ilaha illallah. When anyone become a Muslim, we always like tell them, always say in your heart and in your tongue, La ilaha illallah. Keep repeating it over and over and over and over again. It really makes you like relieved, it makes you like you're very connected. You feel that Allah actually is so close to you. Allah can hear you, subhanAllah. So the third thing is always make dua. And dua means, as I said, the prayer is like when you close your eyes or when you focus and you talk to God from your heart. That's what we call dua. Okay. And that will help you also doing khushu' in the prayer. All right. So you can just tell God anything you want. Anything you want. And actually, the scholars say there is some kind of etiquette on how we make dua. We don't just go in there and say, oh God, give me some money. Oh God, do this for me. Oh God, give me some kind of ease. Oh God, let me be successful in the test. It doesn't work like that. There is some kind of etiquette. Usually when you go to your boss, what do? You start complimenting him first, right? Or thanking him for being with you, thanking him for the time that he gives you, right? And you kind of like make some kind of conversation with him, and then at the end you will go and ask him whatever you want, right? So how about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? There is a way, an etiquette to do that. You are talking with the most exalted. You're talking with Allah, with God. So they say, if you really read Al-Fatiha, which is the first chapter of the Quran, it actually teaches you how to make dua. Look at that. The first thing it says, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, right? Praising Allah. So the first thing we start with our dua is what? Praising and thanking Allah. Alhamdulillah. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. You are the most gracious and the most graceful. So you're exalting Allah. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. You are the king of the world, the king of the kings. So you're exalting Allah. And then you say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Then you say, what? Guide us to the straight path. Then you ask Allah whatever you want. And you ask Allah for forgiveness, right? So there is a way to do a dua, exalting Allah, and then asking Allah. And then at the end, you can exalt Allah, thank Allah, or even do some kind of salah ala nabi, praising the Prophet Muhammad and so on, right? So the dua is very important, and use the etiquettes of that dua. The fourth thing is to keep the good company always. Good company. If you have friends that they go to the nightclubs, drink, smoke, do all these things, those are not good friends. They're going to keep you away from Allah. And usually when someone becomes a Muslim, you see these friends are going to cut off that relationship by themselves. Because when they tell you, hey, let's go and party and drink, and you say, no, thank you, I'm sorry. We can meet like in 2 days. We can go out for coffee or something. No, that doesn't, you're not my style anymore. Usually this is where the true friend will show. The true friend will show at these times. You'll know that he is or she is a true friend or not. A life thing changes in your life, like something happened in your life. Like, let's say, getting married or getting into a tribulation or becoming Muslim, who's your real friend and who's not. The real friend will stick with you and they will encourage you. Try to replace these friends that you lost, and don't feel bad about it, because it's meant to happen. Allah wanted to show you who is the true friend. He wants to show you their true heart. Try to replace them with good friends, with Muslims who will come and will remind you with Allah, who will come and teach you something new every time, who will sit with you and you will learn something from them. First is knowing who you are standing before, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Second is always mention Allah, always remember Allah, knowing that Allah is watching you. The third thing is always make dua. Talk to Allah. Talk to Allah. The salah is a conversation between you and Allah. As I said, is a connection. So when you recite the Quran, this is where Allah is talking to you, because the Quran is the words of Allah. And then when you make dua, when you're asking Allah, you are talking to Allah. So it's a mutual conversation between you and Allah. Knowing that Allah is not something that is far away, like agnostics saying that, oh, Allah created the world and he just left it alone. So there is no connection between me and God. A lot of people think this way, but we don't want to think this way, because Allah is so close. It says in the Quran, Al-Qarib means he is the most close. He hears us. He sees us. He is the all-knowing. He knows everything about us. So we have to keep that conversation going between God and us. And the last thing is to keep the good company. All right.